We mentioned earlier that it was important to be able to control industrial processes to make them safe. So if lots of different things have got to happen, and perhaps it involves a great big machine, then if it happens in the wrong order, well, that could cause a big accident and be very expensive to repair, or it might injure somebody. So what I've done is here create a very simple sequence, and let's try and show how a particular sequence in the outside world, which I think is still an industrial sort of thing, in the outside world that we experience every day, has to be a safe sequence. So at the moment, the sequence that's running, it's just the three LEDs, but remember, with these wires we can join output devices to be controlled in the same sequence that the LEDs are flashing. And when you look at this, you see LED on, quick, that one's on quickly, both of those are then on, that one's back to the start again. So the sequence does keep repeating, but it's this curious bit about those two are on at the same time, and you think, well, why on earth? Well, if I slow that down for you, it becomes a little bit more apparent. So remember, these are the speed controls once you've got into it. Oh, it's gone really fast there now. We'll never understand that. Let's slow it down. Now I'm going to slow it down even more than that. So where in everyday life would he have a sequence of things happen? It's something to do with safety and transport. I'll slow it down even more. And the key to this is the next part of the sequence. You can do it. Come on. There it goes. Those two are on at the same time. Oh, then very quickly it changes to that one. Well, there's not much of a time delay between that and that one turning on. And then we're back along the sequence again. So let's just alter the zoom. I might have to alter the lighting to go with it, and then we'll have a look at what's over here. So I've got three light boxes. We'll turn the external light down. We'll turn this light down. So a little bit blurry. Focus is not quite what it should be. And there we see. Now, can you imagine? On a road, we know what the red, green and amber are for, but it's an industrial control process using electronics that causes the lights to change. So it's traffic lights, and I don't know if you've ever thought about it, but the sequence is really important. You couldn't just have a red and a green. It would just cause all sorts of chaos of sudden stopping and starting. So that would be rather dangerous. So the amber light is really important. And when it gets back to red for stop, let's just imagine you were in a car stopped at that red light. So shortly, oh, there's the amber. We're about to change to light to red. Right, you stopped at the red light. So now the traffic is coming the other way. So you're waiting there, the traffic is going across in front of you now. You're looking at that red light, and now suddenly you've got a warning that the light is about to change to green. So it just gives you that little bit of thinking time. Make sure you're concentrating. Right, yep, I'm in the right gear, go forward, and now you're on your way. Well, in order to let the other traffic through, you've got to slow it down first, then stop it all together, and that just gives a little bit of thinking time for everybody to make sure that the roundabout or the crossroads are clear. So you're waiting again, the traffic going sort of left to right past you is happily on its way, and then it must be stopped by the other traffic lights because now you can go on the green light. So these sort of processes and industrial control and use of these little computer chips is really, really important. And when you think about it, on great big roundabouts and great big crossroads, then it would be chaotic. The traffic wouldn't flow properly unless we could control it in this manner. And let's just think about this. Wait a minute, what happens if there's an electrical fault and suddenly the power goes off, but then it comes back on again? Well, what happens then? Is it just random which traffic light is on and which one's off? Can you imagine the chaos? So there's got to be a start-up sequence whereby everybody's stopped and then a selection made as to which priority traffic is allowed to go through, and it gets the first green light. So there's an awful lot going on just to control a crossroads, because obviously human life is at stake and it has to fail safely. And engineers who do this sort of thing always have to have fail safe in their mind. Every machine, every single control system. Can you imagine trains, ships, traffic lights, docks, all sorts of things, lifts have to have a mode whereby there's a control system, but if it goes wrong, it has to fail safely, but then be able to recover in a safe starting mode. So that's something to consider. A nice little aside, have a thing is, which control systems can you come up with at home? Well, let's very quickly make some Christmas flashing lights, look, just to end with. How are we going to do that? Well, let's just take the delay off. Where's the delay gone? Oops. There we are. So very quickly you could go to disco lights, couldn't you? Or Christmas flashing lights. Be rather chaotic if traffic lights were that fast. Well, have fun if you're doing some little programs, and if you do get into control, it is very absorbing. There are all sorts of programs you can do, all sorts of interesting challenges to take. There we are, finished for now. Let's turn our run sequence off. There we go.